submit a picture, choose your location, and describe the issue. It's that simple. Your request is then automatically sent to the correct department, and you can track your requests and communicate with the department while the issue is resolved. Download our new free app and connect with us today. Our new mobile app brings the power of our local government in the palm of your hands. Just go to the Apple App Store or Google Play Store and download our new app today. Using the app is easy. You can now start a service request for graffiti, potholes, broken fire hydrants, damaged streets, and more issues with your smartphone. Just open our app, hit the Start Request button, choose your issue topic, submit a picture, choose your location, and describe the issue. It's that simple. Your request is then automatically sent to the correct department, and you can track your requests and communicate with the department while the issue is resolved. Download our new free app and connect with us today. Our new mobile app brings the power of our local government in the palm of your hands. Just go to the Apple App Store or Google Play Store and download our new app today. Using the app is easy. You can now start a service request for graffiti, potholes, broken fire hydrants, damaged streets, and more issues with your smartphone. Just open our app, hit the Start Request button, choose your issue topic, submit a picture, choose your location, and describe the issue. It's that simple. Your request is then automatically sent to the correct department, and you can track your requests and communicate with the department while the issue is resolved. Download our new free app and connect with us today. Our new mobile app brings the power of our local government in the palm of your hands. Just go to the Apple App Store or Google Play Store and download our new app today. Using the app is easy. You can now start a service request for graffiti, potholes, broken fire hydrants, damaged streets, and more issues with your smartphone. Just open our app, hit the Start Request button, choose your issue topic, submit a picture, choose your location, and describe the issue. It's that simple. Your request is then automatically sent to the correct department, and you can track your requests and communicate with the department while the issue is resolved. Download our new free app and connect with us today. Our new mobile app brings the power of our local government in the palm of your hands. Just go to the Apple App Store or Google Play Store and download our new app today. Using the app is easy. You can now start a service request for graffiti, potholes, broken fire hydrants, damaged streets, and more issues with your smartphone. Just open our app, hit the Start Request button, choose your issue topic, submit a picture, choose your location, and describe the issue. It's that simple. Your request is then automatically sent to the correct department, and you can track your requests and communicate with the department while the issue is resolved. Download our new free app and connect with us today. Our new mobile app brings the power of our local government in the palm of your hands. Just go to the Apple App Store or Google Play Store and download our new app today. Using the app is easy. You can now start a service request for graffiti, potholes, broken fire hydrants, damaged streets, and more issues with your smartphone. Just open our app, hit the Start Request button, choose your issue topic, submit a picture, choose your location, and describe the issue. It's that simple. Your request is then automatically sent to the correct department, and you can track your requests and communicate with the department while the issue is resolved. Download our new free app and connect with us today. Our new mobile app brings the power of our local government in the palm of your hands. Just go to the Apple App Store or Google Play Store and download our new app today. Using the app is easy. You can now start a service request for graffiti, potholes, broken fire hydrants, damaged streets, and more issues with your smartphone. Just open our app, hit the Start Request button, choose your issue topic, submit a picture, choose your location, and describe the issue. It's that simple. Your request is then automatically sent to the correct department, and you can track your requests and communicate with the department while the issue is resolved. Download our new free app and connect with us today. Our new mobile app brings the power of our local government in the palm of your hands. Just go to the Apple App Store or Google Play Store and download our new app today. Using the app is easy. You can now start a service request for graffiti, potholes, broken fire hydrants, damaged streets, and more issues with your smartphone. Just open our app, hit the Start Request button, choose your issue topic, submit a picture, choose your location, and describe the issue. It's that simple. Your request is then automatically sent to the correct department, and you can track your requests and communicate with the department while the issue is resolved. Download our new free app and connect with us today. Our new mobile app brings the power of our local government in the palm of your hands. Just go to the Apple App Store or Google Play Store and download our new app today. Using the app is easy. You can now start a service request for graffiti, potholes, broken fire hydrants, damaged streets, and more issues with your smartphone. Just open our app, hit the Start Request button, choose your issue topic, submit a picture, choose your location, and describe the issue. It's that simple. Your request is then automatically sent to the correct department, and you can track your requests and communicate with the department while the issue is resolved. Download our new free app and connect with us today. Our new mobile app brings the power of our local government in the palm of your hands. Just go to the Apple App Store or Google Play Store and download our new app today. Using the app is easy. You can now start a service request for graffiti, potholes, broken fire hydrants, damaged streets, and more issues with your smartphone. Just open our app, hit the Start Request button, choose your issue topic,
I'm not understanding the seal covering the clerk, but I mean, we're making progress. And then the QR code is covering the town manager.
All right. I'm going to call the Dumfries Town Council meeting of Tuesday, March 18th, 2025, 7 p.m. to order. Madam Clerk, please call for the roll.
Councilwoman Peterson. Present. Councilmember Pete.
Here.
Councilmember Fields.
Here.
Councilmember Young.
Here.
Chair Pro Tem Miles. Present. Vice Mayor Nickerson. Here. Mayor Wood.
Present.
Thank you.
All right. Next, we will have our prayer. Is Pastor Wood? Oh, she's in. I didn't. Okay, come on, Pastor Wood. I was about to say hello.
Good evening, everyone. Let us pray. Dear Lord, we come before you today with hearts full of gratitude for this community we are blessed to serve. God, we thank you for the opportunity to gather together as committed to the well-being of the town of Dumfries. We ask for your guidance and your wisdom as decisions are made that will impact the lives of our neighbors, our friends, our families. Help us to listen with open hearts and minds, and grant us the courage to always act with integrity, fairness, and compassion. Lord, may discussions today be filled with mutual respect and understanding. We ask that you would lead us in the right direction, offering us insight and clarity in every choice we make. Help us to work together with unity, purpose, always keeping the needs of our community at the forefront. Bless our town, its citizens, and all those who call it home. May we continue to grow in strength, peace, and prosperity with your presence guiding our steps. In your holy name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Would you all please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, next on our agenda is the adoption of the agenda. All right,
Mr. Mayor, I move we adopt the agenda.
I'll second that motion, Mr. Mayor.
okay. I want to, before we adopt, okay, it's already done. Never mind. Good, thank you. All right, it's been motion and second. Any discussion? All right, seeing none, Madam Clerk, please call for the question.
Councilmember Peterson? Aye. Councilmember Pete?
Yes.
Councilmember Fields?
Yes.
Councilmember Young?
Yes.
Chair Pro Tem Miles?
Aye.
Vice Mayor Nickerson?
Yes.
Mayor Wood?
Yes.
Motion's passed.
All right. First on our agenda is a proclamation recognizing May 18th, 2025 as the Humanity First USA Beat Hunger Day. All right, that's out of order. It says, whereas according to the USDA in 2023, 47.4 million people in the United States, including 7.2 million people, are insecure households and are battling hunger, whereas 37,000 people in the county experience food insecurity. The observance of Beat Hunger Day on March 21st, 2025 is an opportunity to recognize the hunger experienced by our neighbors and to take action by supporting the work of Humanity First USA, a nonprofit that provides vital and critical resources by donating food, volunteering, and raising awareness about hunger issues in Prince William County and the 7 other states. And the campaign encouraged its supporters to skip lunch on March 21st and donate their lunch money to Humanity First USA to feed fellow Americans. Whereas the organization has hundreds of caring volunteers across the United States who donate their time, vehicles, gasoline, and energy to deliver hundreds of thousands of meals annually to our fellow citizens in the United States. Whereas Humanity First USA is a consistently partner with our local food banks and pantries working together to beat hunger. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the town of Dumfries, Virginia, hereby proclaims March 21st as the Humanity First USA Beat Hunger Day and urge citizens to take time on this day to honor Beat Hunger Day, the people it will serve, and the volunteers who care for them. Our recognition and involvement in Humanity First USA Beat Hunger Day can enrich our entire community and help combat hunger in America. Signed, Mayor Derek R. Wood, by order of the Town Council. Mr. Abdullah here? Yeah, we have a proclamation for you.
I'm so sorry for the delay.
It's okay, we just finished reading it.
Thank you very much, I appreciate it. Thank you. You too.
Oh, wait.
Thank you very much, I appreciate it.
Next is a proclamation for Procurement Month, where it says, whereas the public procurement professional plays a significant role in the efficiency and effectiveness of both government and business, whereas in addition to the purchase of goods and service, procurement adds value to the organization by performing such functions as executing, implementing, and administering contracts, developing strategic procurement strategies, and cultivating working relationships with suppliers and other departments within the organization. Whereas public procurement professionals in the town of Dumfries and in other public and private organizations have tremendous influence on economic conditions with a cumulative purchase power running into the billions of dollars. Whereas the procurement division of the finance department in the town of Dumfries is committed to providing high caliber strategic, logistical, and operational support of all departments in the town of Dumfries. Whereas the town of Dumfries recognizes, supports, and practices the public procurement values and guiding principles of accountability, ethics, impartiality, professionalism, service, and transparency established by the NIGP, the Institute for Public Procurement, as fundamental tenets of public procurement professionals. And whereas NIGP has proclaimed the month of March as Procurement Month to further expand awareness of the purchase professionals' role to government officials, the general public, business, and corporate lens. Now, therefore, the Dumfries Town Council do hereby proclaim the month of March as Procurement Month and call upon all citizens to join us in this special observance. Signed, Mayor Derek R. Wood, by order of the council.
Can I say something, Mayor Wood?
Yeah, you said something.
Mayor, and honorable town council, I'll just ask that we all congratulate Ayana. She has become certified by the Commonwealth of Virginia, so you now have 2 certified procurement officials on your team.
All right. Thank you, sir. No problem. Final proclamation is designated March as National Nutrition Month. Whereas food is substance by which life is sustained, and the type, quality, and amount of food that individuals consume each day plays a vital role in their overall health and well-being. Whereas proper nutrition is essential in maintaining a strong immune system, supporting growth and development, preventing chronic diseases, and promoting overall physical and mental well-being. And whereas the Academy of Nutrition and Dietetics has designated March as National Nutrition Month, an annual campaign to educate and encourage people to make informed food choices, develop healthy eating habits, and incorporate physical activity into their daily lives. And whereas the 2025 theme for National Nutrition Month is Food Connects Us. It highlights the importance of making balanced, nutritious choice that fit individual lifestyles, cultural traditions, and healthy needs. And whereas registered dietitians, nutritionists, healthcare providers, schools, workplaces, and community organizations all play a crucial role in educating individuals about the benefits of healthy eating and promoting access to nutritious food for all. And whereas the town of Dumfries encourage all residents to embrace a healthier lifestyle by consuming a variety of nutrient-rich foods, staying active, and making informed decisions about their health. Now, therefore, the Dumfries Town Councils do hereby proclaim the month of March 2025 as National Nutrition Month in the town of Dumfries and encourage all residents to join us in its observations by making informed food choice, supporting local nutrition programs, and promoting a healthier community. Signed, Mayor Derek R. Wood, by order of the council.
That's awesome. Be either side of you. All right, we're going to do. Okay. Okay.
I stand here with them.
Good. Great. Thank you.
Say something about this moment.
Sure. Oh, absolutely. Yeah, love to. All right, well, you're going to hear a little bit more from us in a moment, but we're with Prince William County Public Schools. I'm Andrea Early, I'm the director, and I have Callie Nichols. She is our nutrition and procurement coordinator. And so we are both registered dietitians, so we're very excited to receive this proclamation. We're excited to share a little bit more about our programs in Prince William County with you just a little bit later in the agenda. So thank you so much.
All right, what next on the agenda is the approval of the minutes.
Mayor, I'd like to move that we approve the minutes for this evening.
Second. Okay, it's been motioned and second. Any discussion? All right, seeing none, Madam Clerk, please call for the question.
Councilmember Peterson? Aye. Councilmember Pete?
Yes.
Councilmember Fields?
Yes.
Councilmember Young?
Yes.
Chair Pro Tem Miles? Aye. Vice Mayor Nickerson?
Yes.
Mayor Wood?
Yes.
That motion's passed.
All right. Are there any citizens signed up to speak today?
Yes, we have 2 speakers that signed up to speak. The first speaker,
Now, is this for anything on the public hearing? We'll ask for them to wait during public hearing, but if it's not dealing with any public hearings, we'll take it now.
you may have to ask. I can't
Okay.
understand the writing on one of them.
Okay.
Is there conversation, please?
Thank you.
Yes.
And boys and girls. Okay, so both of them are. So the other one is Boys and Girls Club. Yeah,
They both
so both
on
of them
public
public.
hearing. All right. All right, so we'll move on to our first presentation of the night. Presentation from Claire from the Landscape Architecture and Urban Design LLC. Claire, are you with us today?
It says I'm backstage. Are you all able to hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Great.
All right, welcome. The floor is now yours.
Great. Okay, let's see. I'm just trying to share. Are you all seeing? Is this my? I think I'm seeing your screen, which is great.
Okay, we can see your presentation.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. Well, thanks everybody. Looks like it just went into a hall of mirrors. Let's go back to where we were. I'm sorry, I don't know who's controlling. We can go back to where we were. It was perfect. Thank you so much.
All
That's great. So hi everybody, my name is Claire Augrey. I'm a landscape architect based in Baltimore, Maryland, and I had the honor of meeting your mayor at a wonderful event called the Mayor's Council of America, and it was a kind of design-oriented set of workshops down in Gainesville, Florida a few months ago, and I was really pleased to be able to learn a little bit about Dumfries, Virginia. Mayor Wood asked me to give a kind of very condensed version of a presentation I gave at that session tonight. So I wanted to just take you all through very, very briefly a little bit of thinking about how we think about the development of our communities and development of our cities, and talk about why landscape architecture is so critical to the development of our towns. And I understand that you all have a very large project potentially on the boards. So this is sort of an encouragement to incorporate all aspects of design. So we can go to the next slide. Thank you. So I'm based in Baltimore. I hope some of you have been up here and visited our fair city, greatest city in America, as you can see from our park benches. Go to the next slide. I just wanted to kind of underline a little bit about the kind of beauty of the region that we all share. We're in different states, of course, but we share a really common Piedmont and coastal plain geology. This is a view of our studio out in Great Falls. We as a region really are organized around our waterways and our topography, and that's really important when we think about the design of our cities. Next, please. We as a firm are builders, so we do landscape architecture, we do planning as well, and a lot of kind of public engagement oriented work. But at the end of the day, when you're hiring a landscape architect, hopefully at the end of the day, you're trying to actually change something and leave this planet better than you found it. Next slide. So in Baltimore, as in many cities, we have a really fantastic park network. And I wanted to flag this slide in particular because I think it might have some analogous aspects as you think about how Dumfries develops over the coming generation. In 1904, as Baltimore was growing, there was a desire to move beyond just the kind of anchor parks and kind of core development area of the city. And so this plan was put together to link together a park network. And what you can see in brown here is that the park network, which was designed by the Olmsted brothers, really followed the natural topography and the natural drainage ways of the city. And that's some of the most important public space and one of the most important organizing gestures of our entire city. So these now become places for parks, for greenways, fantastic places to come together. Next slide. And here are just some images of what that looks like in our town. So we get pocket parks within these drainage corridors. We have some of our finest cultural institutions are sitting right on the edge of parks. So just like Metropolitan Museum of Art sits on Central Park, our Baltimore Museum of Art sits on the edge of one of these ravines that go through the city. Next slide. just an image here showing how important it is when we think about the development of cities and with growth in mind that we hold and reserve the public space so that growth can happen around it. So Central Park wasn't there, of course, when Manhattan moved north. It was really established as an extra park in the north side of Manhattan to make sure that the entire island wasn't overridden with development. So thinking about landscape first is really critical. Next slide. And these are some nice images, just zooming in a little bit on Central Park, kind of see how the topography and the parcels were there. And that is then modified into a intensely kind of created sense of place in the park itself. Next slide. One more picture here. If you kind of imagine before Central Park in New York was there, it was farmland with adjacent villages and settlements. So this kind of development happens often when there's a great landscape nearby. So one of the things Mayor Wood and I spoke about, and some of the other mayors were talking about, was catalyzing development and creating value. And having really high quality public space is one of the best ways to raise value and create wonderful quality of life and wonderful places to live. So thinking about them kind of hand in hand is quite important. Next slide. Rock Creek Park is an example I'm sure you all know, closer to home and much more analogous of some of the topography that you have in Dumfries. Next slide. I think I just put some images here of how incredible that landscape is. So it doesn't need to be a formal space in order to be a really well-used and catalyzing project. It can be very naturalistic in the same way that Rock Creek Park is. Really, the power of a trail shouldn't be understated. That's a really important feature of any growing community. Next slide. So I brought all of that together just to kind of prompt a few additional ideas about as development happens, how are we thinking about reserving space for right-of-way, for public space? This is a really important stat that the UN Habitat organization uses as guidance of how much of your space, how much of your city should really be public space. And people are often really surprised by this statistic because you kind of think about the buildings taking up most of your city, but in actuality, the sidewalks, the streets, the right-of-ways, the street trees, the parks actually take a huge proportion of your city. And we really need to kind of own what those things are. Next slide. So everybody who's been to Europe knows how gracious and wonderful this can be. And people say, yeah, but we have cars in America. This doesn't work anymore. And that's just not true. If we're really thoughtful about the design of our public space and the way these spaces work, we can make them wonderful places for people that are walkable and still invite the car and allow all the kind of things that we need in a thriving city to work seamlessly. Next slide. This is a nice little snapshot of Rome, one of the great cities in the world. And what I like about this is it shows that balance again of the kind of proportion. You see almost half of the city is public space. That's what's shown in white on this diagram. And even the churches and the markets are shown as public space. So these civic institutions that are more or less public are kind of part of the fabric of our lives. And then the private space is shown in the dark hatch. So I'm trying to kind of change the way we think about it rather than where are we going to put the buildings? How are we going to shape what's public and shared by all first? And that includes roads and bike paths and street trees and all the rest. Next slide. There's also a huge ROI or return on investment with putting landscape first. The highest ROI I've ever seen is the High Line in West Manhattan. If you know that project, that had something insane like a 500 to 1 return on investment, meaning for every dollar they put into that park, they got $500 out of adjacent value in those buildings. But you always see that positive relationship between great landscape architecture, great parks, great public space, and the value of the adjacent property. Next slide. And these are just a few more stats on the kind of like more detail, just showing some of the stats. And there's references here on the bottom of these slides, just talking about the value of landscape and how it raises the value around. Next slide. Similarly here, pedestrianized space, foot traffic, this drives retail. It's interesting because people always sort of worry about parking, but it's a much longer walk from the far side of the Walmart parking lot to the back of Walmart than it is 3 blocks from where you parked to the store. So really kind of trying to think about human behavior and how we can make a really friendly pedestrian realm is very important. Next slide. One more about retail here. As Mayor Wood knows, I'm a huge proponent of trees. They do so much work and they shouldn't be an afterthought. In addition to clean air and just total wellness of the human being and habitat value, people spend more money because they're happier there. It's more attractive, it's more appealing. So making sure that trees aren't an afterthought and that you're really designing all of your public spaces with trees in mind. Next slide. I brought this slide. This is a really fantastic project. I did not design it, but this is a project that I thought would be useful to share just to show how much value can be packed into the public realm. So this is a boulevard project, and I understand there's some really interesting roadway improvement projects going on in the town of Dumfries on the boards. In this project, they put this boulevard on a major road diet, meaning taking away lanes of traffic, and started to plug in opportunities for public space. So we'll just roll through these and I'll show you, just highlight some of the things I see that are of great value here. So on the next slide, you can just start to see some of the things that are going on here. So the shade trees are providing fantastic urban heat island mitigation. They're providing habitat value. They're providing beauty. And you also see the very thoughtful layout of seating in this space. Benches are one of the workhorses of public space. If you don't have a bench, it's not an inviting place for anybody. If you take it away, you've made it not great for anybody. But when you start to configure social seating like this, in addition, in particular, thinking about how kids and our elders are going to use those spaces, all of a sudden it becomes a place and a place to be together. That's great. Next slide. We can just roll right to the next one here. What I see on this slide are some really fantastic, you can go to the next one, multimodal features. So in addition to the trees, we see really thoughtful design for pedestrian safety, pedestrian crossings, designated multimodal spaces, meaning shared use trails, and then space to actually park your bike and spaces for e-bikes. So we want to make it really easy and really appealing for people to walk, for people to bike, for people to e-bike. I just read a great article by a mom who said, talked about how e-biking has just changed her family's life. You know, they add 2 minutes onto their commute, but their quality of life is so improved because they have trails, they have time together in the fresh air. And so we want to be planning for that as well. Next slide.
And so, Claire, we want to be able to get some time in for some questions here on your presentation. First of all, just real briefly, tell us what is, for us who've never heard of landscape architects, can you summarize it for us? What is landscape architecture?
Absolutely. So everybody knows what architecture is, right? It's the design of the building. Landscape architecture is simply everything outside the building. So we often let engineers or planners take over that space, but landscape architects are the people who design, and especially with living systems, anything that's alive, anything that's for the public good outside the building envelope. So that includes parks, greenways, streetscapes, plazas, gardens. People often assume it's just residential design, but it's everything. It's Rock Creek Park, it's the greenways that connect the region, it's the transit-oriented developments, public spaces, it's all of that. So it's a very broad profession. And I think, Mayor Wood, I'm just looking here at the end of the presentation. There's not too much more. I could show one additional image if that would be okay, and then take some questions.
Okay, what's good? Show.
If you just scan forward, you can just roll right through these. These are just sort of showing, again, all the wonderful things that can be in a public space play. Go to the next one. I'm going to go back one. This Google Street View, and then I'll end on the next slide. So this is in downtown Baltimore, and this is just to say, again, it's about vision. My neighbor, we were talking about public space design here in Baltimore, and he said to me, we just don't have space. It's not possible here. It's great to talk about Europe or talk about New York City, but we don't have space here. If you go to the next slide, this is a vision plan that we're currently working on here in Baltimore, where it shows what is possible. So through incorporation of multimodal transportation, through public transportation, through road diets, through trees, through fantastic planting and thoughtful development, you can see how much more attractive and appealing this is. And then when you get a good traffic engineer working with you, they can actually calculate you're not losing a lot of commuting minutes by doing this, and you're making your city a much nicer place to live. So I'll leave it there, and I'm looking forward to answering any questions I can.
Council, any questions on that? Claire, as we prepare for some of our projects, what should we be thinking about as we begin to look at our green spaces and we begin to look at our landscape and our architecture? What are some of the things we should consider?
Sure. Well, first and foremost, a great public engagement process that transparently shares where you're going is so critical. And what I usually recommend for something like that is to first brainstorm what people desire. Are they looking for more programs, playgrounds, recreational space? Is it about trails and connectivity? So first, just to engage the public, so they really have a chance to talk about what do they need in public space, because every community has different needs. So that's one. And then once you start to do that, start some visioning sessions. So find a consultant that you like and get some of these drawings on a page, because a picture is worth 1,000 words. And a good consultant who understands landscape architecture and transit for some of your projects will start to be able to kind of diagram and illustrate what are the important assets that you already have. You have a beautiful creek. You have beautiful existing historic assets. What are the things that are really important and make Dumfries, and start to create a kind of high level vision that people can imagine. Because I think it's one thing to talk about it, it's another thing to get that drawing started. So those are two important first steps, just to make sure people understand where you're headed.
In your experience, when developers come and develop their projects, is landscape architecture something they consider first when they're building in our communities?
Some developers, not all developers, and that's where it's good to have, start with that vision plan and then have a really thoughtful master plan that is approved by this council, that you can hold those developers accountable. So you can say, if you want to be a participant in this master plan, these are the requirements. We have these requirements for parking. We have these requirements for height. We're going to require this much public frontage in our development. Sometimes municipalities will have requirements for lead points. So that's all part of a good master plan that says these are our requirements, and a good developer will have no problem meeting those, because landscape costs pennies on the dollar compared to the construction of a building, and it's going to make their project more successful. But if you don't tell them they need to do it, they're not going to do it out of the goodness of their heart, because they're focused on their one piece. So that overarching plan that kind of links it all together for the community is really important.
Okay. Councilman Pete.
Thank you for the presentation. I just have one question for you here as I'm looking over your presentation, and I see that there's a lot of green space opportunities here, and then I definitely respect the waterfront examples that you guys brought forth. My only questions to you is I don't see it here. I just want to ask you, have you guys have any experience on boardwalks?
We do. We are building one right now in North Carolina for a museum project. And if there's a follow-up to that question, I'm happy to talk more technical detail. Boardwalks, fantastic, great way to get access into frequently protected zones like designated wetlands. If there's anything else I can provide on boardwalks to help, let me know. Lots of great examples.
All right, thank you. That's all I have, Mayor.
Town Manager.
I just have one brief question. Do any of these designs take account for stormwater mitigation?
Yes, all of them. I would say that any landscape now is going to be beholden to a lot of regulation, and so you're either mitigating within your project or you're mitigating off-site and swapping credits on another site. I think it's best to manage the stormwater on your project, and there's lots of interesting ways to do it. Subterranean, through daylighting of stormwater, holding reservoirs. There's so many different ways to do it. I like going for an approach where you're also providing habitat value and doing more than one thing. But there's tons of creativity on that subject.
Well, Claire, thank you for taking time out, and I appreciate the Mayor's Institute for allowing you to come speak to us. I know that you are not allowed to solicit us for any business based on that non-speak. So we appreciate you coming to do this presentation for us and help us to understand landscape architecture. So we
My
appreciate it.
pleasure. My pleasure. Thanks so much for having me.
All right. All right, our next presentation is from the Northern Virginia Transportation Authority with an update. Miss Monica Bachman, the floor is now yours.
Mayor and town council. Oh my goodness, a little loud. So maybe it's me because I do speak loudly. But I'm Monica Bachman, the Chief Executive Officer for the Northern Virginia Transportation Authority. I will be brief in the interest of time, but I would like to highlight some of the things that we do here at NVTA. Next slide, please. So at the Northern Virginia Transportation Authority, we have a vision for the region, and our vision is to plan for and invest in a safe, equitable, sustainable, and integrated multimodal transportation system that enhances the quality of life, strengthens the economy, and build resiliency. And now it's really, really needed more than ever. Next slide. So we have two primary responsibilities. Don't try to even read the swirl, but we have two primary responsibilities per code. One is to develop the region's long-range transportation plan for Northern Virginia. Why is that important? Because in 2013, there was a House bill that passed, House Bill 2313, that really gave us the funding to advance transportation in Northern Virginia. But the catch was any project that we fund must be in our long-range transportation plan. So that plan went from a sleeping document that we had to update by law at least every 5 years to a plan which everyone looks towards to how do we get our best projects that are going to address congestion and other things into this long-range transportation plan. From there, we do a 6-year program. And I do want to know, and I'm going to put this plug out here, we are preparing to do a call for projects for regional transportation projects this spring. This call for projects will cover fiscal years 30 and 31. And what I tell everyone is you have to you have to apply to put yourself in a position for being eligible for projects. And the wheel just shows some of the process. We do the call for projects, we evaluate the projects, we do a public comment period and all of that. And ultimately, the authority makes the decision. And to that decision making, we're a 17-member body. We have two statutory committees. One is a technical advisory committee comprised of 9 citizen experts throughout Northern Virginia. And then we have a planning coordination advisory committee comprised of 14 elected officials in the region. So that 14 is the 5 cities, 4 counties, and then 5 towns in Northern Virginia with the population of 3,500 or more. The town of Dumfries is one of those towns, and the mayor has served on the authority for a number of years, and council member, or excuse me, shall I say, Madam Chair Pro Tem serves on our Planning Coordination Advisory Committee. Next slide. So, and you can go to the next one because I want to get to projects that we are investing in Prince William County and ultimately in the town of Dumfries. To date, through our 7 funding programs, we have funded 21 projects in Prince William County, and that totals $661.7 million in Prince William County. Next slide, please. For the town of Dumfries, what does that mean? So of those 21 projects, 2 projects are right here in the town of Dumfries. Number 1, the Route 1 widening. Why is that a big project? We have heard about the Route 1 widening for years, and I mean years. The need for this project, as you all are very well aware, it expands years and years and upon years. the authority invested $129.7 million in this project. So, and I want to pause here because oftentimes I hear, oh, we're a town, we're a small jurisdiction, we can't get that much. You have to play to win. And you have to have advocates. And I tell people the size of your locality doesn't matter. I won't mention a town, but the smallest town in Virginia, I think at that time the population was 113. They received funding. So it's not about the size of the locality. It's about the need and how that need addresses bottlenecks, congestion reduction, safety, and a host of other measures. The other thing I will say about funding Route 1, 70% of the monies come from the authority, but 30% goes back to the localities where the taxes and fees are raised. And per code, the counties get that 30%, but there is an agreement through a memorandum of understanding that Prince William County has with the town to enable the town to put funding on the Route 1 widening project as well. So that's where you see that $1.5 million that the town has invested in that project. And again, Route 1, as we all know, is more than a project. It is transformational. I tell everyone, while you may commute on Route 1, it's more than just a commuting highway or a commuting road. It will be transformational because what it means for the quality of life, what it means for jobs, access to jobs, what it means for economic vitality, economic activity. So it's more than investing in the actual infrastructure. Then I wanted to know, we did invest in what's called the Triangle Mobility Hub and first and last mile connection improvements. That will also impact the town of Dumfries and working closely with Prince William County because our goal, reduce congestion, but as you saw in the vision statement, improve and enhance the quality of life for residents of Northern Virginia. Next slide. So some additional projects, Van Buren Road is another one that impacts, I actually took Van Buren Road trying to get around some traffic, that also impacts the town, but we have $8 million invested in Van Buren Road. We have $40,000 in the Ripon VRE station. And I mentioned those projects because we are multimodal, because I have heard in the past, oh, if we don't have a road project, you won't fund it. That is not true. We fund bike, pedestrian, we fund trails, we fund roads, we fund intersections, we fund metro, we fund VRE. The only mode we do not fund is air travel because the law says that the projects must be located right here in Northern Virginia. So we can't help you with your air travel, that's someone else, but we are truly multimodal. Next slide. You can go to the next one. And what I mean about multimodal, this slide really sums it up. To that end, we have funded 139 projects totaling $4.9 billion since calendar year 2013. You see transit, bike ped, intersections, roadway, transportation technology, because that's important too. And other, what you see under other, these are studies, administrative reports, and things of that nature as well. Next slide. Again, I talked about our 70-30 split, so you can go to the next slide. And getting to the 30%. I said 70% is what we fund, but the localities, you all have been killing it with the 30% as well. $1.1 billion in 30% revenues have been invested throughout the region, but on various modes of transportation. One thing I tell everyone is it takes more than one mode. There's no single solution to address the transportation woes in Northern Virginia. Next slide, please. And then you can go one more. I want to talk about impact. So every time we adopt a funding program, we do an economic impact analysis. We contract out, we don't do it at home, just to keep the lines of demarcation clear. What is the impact on these projects that we invest in? By 2040, that's 43,000 new jobs that stays right here in the region. These aren't jobs where people come in, do what they need to do and leave. That's new jobs that stay right here in the region. $8 billion in monetary savings. Time is money. When you hear the old cliche, it is true. Time is money. The time you're saving in your commute is time that you're doing other things. And hopefully you're investing in some of these taxes and fees that we use to put back into the infrastructure. And then 500 million hours of travel time saved. That is hours you are not sitting, trying to commute, trying to get from point A, point B, spending time with your family or whomever you desire to spend time with, but doing other things instead of commuting. So I will stop here. The rest of the slides you have the slide deck, but I also, on the day we brought copies of our 2024 annual report. We want to show people what the value they are getting for the taxpayer dollars that goes into our funding. You will find projects all across Northern Virginia. I tell people you will be hard-pressed to find a project in the region that NVTA does not have funding on. So thank you, Mr. Mayor and Council, for entertaining me here tonight, and I'm available for any questions. I'm watching the clock, so thank you.
All right, Council, any questions? Madam Vice Mayor.
I just wanted to comment your clock management. That was very impressive. No, but thank you for that information. Thank you for supporting us as a town and making it very clear that even small localities like ours are eligible to get funding. We just have to put the work in, which is why it is so important that we as a council, we get off this dais and we do the work. We don't just sit here and speak about it. We show up at those meetings, we serve on these boards and committees, and we do the work. So thank you to my fellow council members for continuing to do their work, but we still got a lot of work ahead of us.
You do. And Madam Vice Mayor, if I could, the first time I met you and the mayor, I think it was at a public hearing we were having on that small town had brought all 113 people in the town out to the public hearing to advocate for their project. And that's when I met them, and they were saying, we have a project too. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Your voice matters. Showing up matters.
It does. Thank you.
My question is, so how soon or how early can we submit for a project? Like if we know we're going to take ownership of our main street, like how soon should we be looking at submitting those projects for funding from you?
So I would definitely say I have what's called the Regional Jurisdiction and Agency Coordinating Committee. At that committee, it's full of staff. We talk about here's what's coming up that we are going to take to the authority. So before I get to the authority for action, I talk to the staff from the localities and jurisdictions and agencies saying, hey, we're going to do a call for projects. Be on the lookout for that call for projects. The call for projects for our next 6-year program update, and we do these biannually. It is coming up. I anticipate asking the authority to approve at their May meeting. Once they approve the call for projects, then the window is open. Your applications can be submitted, but be cognizant of the deadlines because once it's closed, and we cannot open it up. And even though we're adding fiscal years 30 and 31, we have been in the position to forward appropriate, meaning that if your project is funded, but it's funded in these out years, if you can show and demonstrate that you are ready to go, demonstrate that you can use the money now, we are in a position to fund it right now.
So if we had a project, say on our old Triangle Road that we could submit in this next round for improvements, if we want to add bike lanes or.
Absolutely. We have a criteria that must be met. We run the model, but again, in addition to the qualitative, there are quantitative considerations too. We look at what's happening regarding performance measures, and then we look at what the public are saying. What type of public comments are we receiving? Has the locality received authority money previously, and have they been good stewards with the funding? So we marry all of that into a recommendation that we take to the authority. The other thing I'd like to mention, there are 2 federal funding sources that we don't approve directly, but we make programming recommendations on, and that's CMAQ, which stands for Congestion Mitigation and Air Quality Program, Program funds, and then RSTP, Regional Surface Transportation Program funds. We do these every year. The Commonwealth Transportation Board looks for a recommendation from the authority, and usually they go along with their recommendation. So there are other opportunities as well. And right now, because I've been asked, oh, will these federal funds go away? We don't know, but right now we're staying strong and we're holding the position that we will have that money.
My last question deals with, on your multimodal, we talk about bus, rapid transit, you talk about bike, pedestrian, intersection improvements, rail, roadway. Can you speak to the technology aspect of your multimodal?
Oh, absolutely. So we actually, and I'm, trying to be cognizant of time, at the authority, we have a transportation technology strategic plan. And how do we marry transportation and technology? On some projects, it's a given. You see on the interstates, especially if you're in express lanes or what have you, see it tells you, hey, there's X number of parking spaces available in a parking lot. And so this will let you know if you have a good shot of getting a space, if you want to get off the road and take transit, or should you wait and try to get on the next or access the next park and ride lot. But the other thing about technology, even for buses or bus rapid transit, in order to make transit and continue to make transit attractive and give it a chance to compete, getting people out of their single occupied vehicles, we got to make sure that we keep transit in the forefront. So when I talk about BRT, putting transponders in the buses, so if there isn't a dedicated bus rapid transit lane, if the bus is coming and the light is red, there's something that the bus has inside. The transponder can switch the light. I don't want to equate it to emergency management or fire trucks or anything like that, but to make sure that the speed and of the bus can get people to their destinations. Because one thing we hear about, well, there's transit, there's rail, but then there's bus. And, bus can be slow or it can be high capacity. And that's what technology enables it to do.
Well, thank you for your thorough presentation and explanation. Seeing no more questions, thank you.
Thank you.
All right. All right. Next on our agenda is a presentation for the health survey from the Virginia Department of Health.
Okay, I didn't bring any slides, actually. I'm just going to speak. Thank you so much. Hi, good evening. I'm Dr. Diane Anderson, and I'm from Prince William Health District, and I am so grateful to be here this evening. I'm here, first of all, I want to introduce my colleague. This is Mr. Mauricio Garrido. He's a resident of Dumfries, and he's an outstanding community health worker, and I'm going to actually ask him to speak as far as some of the things that he's done as it relates to the initiative that we're doing. But before I do so, my right-hand woman, Jill of all trades, if you will, is Michelle Burton, and she's here. She's our program manager, and the reason why we're here at the heart of it. Yes, I work for Prince William Health District. Yes, we are part of what's called a Community Healthcare Coalition of Greater Prince William. But at the heart of it, it's about community voice. And I've heard this theme from multiple presentations today about the importance of showing up, community engagement. And the third piece that I want to offer that our health district is here, and we want to continue showing up to these meetings and share our findings, is we are in the home stretch of completing what's called a community health assessment. The acronym is CHA. And with the community health assessment, we're asking this question: what is the health status of residents in our greater Prince William region? And we do this not by seeing what does the data show us for Prince William County overall and Manassas City and Manassas Park. We're trying to dig deeper. We have spent this past over a year, basically, the first half of the year planning in 2024 to implement this assessment, and then the second half showing up in communities, looking at how strategies for actually conducting and obtaining feedback from community voice throughout the greater Prince William region. And so I just want to ask Mauricio just to briefly share what that meant here in Dumfries as it relates to community outreach, to have residents in Dumfries and other parts of our region not only complete a community health survey, but then also participate in community conversations, and then also just basically being able to just find out what are the top health needs, health concerns, behaviors, and what would improve the quality of life of residents that live in our region. These are the core issues that we're trying to understand and really do a lot of work listening.
Good evening. My name is Mauricio Garrido. I'm working for the Virginia Department of Health at the Prince William County. I'm doing this job during the last 4 years, and maybe you remember the pandemic, and we are working here next to this building at UMAR with the MCU. Before that, we are doing canvassing. So, I mean, like Diane said, we are trying to work in face to face with the community. And the idea with this survey, it is real hearing what the people are thinking ahead. Like maybe the people standing here before us, we are trying to engage people and hearing the people, but trying to working together about it. But in this case, it is about health. And most of the answers, we are trying to working on the data, and it is related with mental health, dental issues, and how the people can manage their own stress. You know what I mean? We know in this area, many people have 2, 3, multiple jobs, but we can have or spend more time at the family, but we need to go to the job. So it is a circle. We try to engage the people, hearing the people, but working together. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Mauricio. So just to reiterate, we conducted a community health assessment from 2024 to 2025. We're in the home stretch. The postcard that was just passed out by my colleague, Michelle, shows on the back, we are a diverse, multi-stakeholder team. This is an all hands on deck, everybody rolling up their sleeves initiative to first understand what is the health status in our region. And the real work is actually then interpreting the findings, getting feedback as far as from community members and those in the room. We would certainly welcome, first of all, this week, just to complete the survey if you haven't already, because Friday is our last day in which the survey will be open, in which we want to hear, like I've said, from community members. Our hashtag around this initiative was Your Health, Your Voice, and we had this translated into multiple languages because that's at the heart of this. We want community voice to inform what we call community health improvement planning, and that's essentially the strategy, the what's next. You have the data, where are you going to go with it? So that's my first call to action for the mayor and for this council. And again, we're grateful to be here. We want to help you as far as where you want to go. If your priorities, and we want to learn what your respective priorities are going forward, and if we've been able to collect data and community voice that can help inform that. Right now, between September of last year and March, we've collected over 1,900 surveys and counting. We've heard from respondents that their top health concerns from a preliminary data analysis is mental health, chronic conditions, and dental problems. Their top behaviors that they're asking folks like us to address as far as coming together and mobilizing resources are related to the top issue was eating unhealthy foods was a behavior that needs to be addressed. The lack of exercise opportunities. And third, driving while drunk or high. And then the third primary question that we asked in this survey, what are the top resource needs? The top needs included access to healthcare services, affordable housing, and access to dental care. So we're just scratching the surface because we're going to be looking at this data as far as differences by different demographics, by age, by zip code for where you live. We're going to be looking at it by race and ethnicity. And again, where you seek your healthcare services. We are just so grateful that there are 3 Greater Prince William Health Centers, one that's literally part of this building. And Mauricio and colleagues have done the work going to this clinic in the waiting rooms and asking residents to complete this survey. And we want to continue not only just the taking as far as hearing voice, but also the learning opportunity for our health district and our coalition of if there are things that we can do as it relates to informing residents about access and programs and options as it relates to the services that our health district provides, we want to show up and we want to do good by them. So just thank you for this brief opportunity to talk about this initiative, and we're looking forward to coming back and happy to answer any questions.
Oh, thank you for, first of all, your awareness and the work you all are doing in this space. It's very commendable, and it's heartening to hear that, still that, some of the biggest concerns that you're hearing is not just the mental health, but the dental, and then the coming together, like even after COVID, people coming together is like their number one concern and being out there. And so it's interesting that you even talk about this during Nutritional Health Month,
Yeah,
that,
exactly.
Access to unhealthy food is like their number one concern, and not having healthy food options and stuff like that. So, what can we do as a town to be a good partner? I don't see our face on the back.
And that's what I want to change. That's why we're here and we're learning, and it matters. Because here's the thing, and I appreciate you raising that, Mayor. Thank you so much, because we're stronger together and we're learning. Like, people may not know even who our health district is, and that's fine. But when we show who we are and that we're working together, that's what matters to people, that we're not doing things in silos. So thank you very much, because we want your logo. We want to make sure it's on our website, and to continue to mobilize.
Okay. Councilman Pete, then Chair Pro Tem.
Oh, thank you for the presentation. Awesome. I'm glad to see that we have one here in the town of Dumfries also. If town manager, if I can get their information so I can contact them, I just have a couple of positive concerns that that I would like to share with you guys off record.
Yeah, appreciate that.
Thank you.
Sure, sir.
Chair Pro Tem.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Thank you for your presentation, and thank you for the work that you're doing in the community and prioritizing health needs with our community. We truly appreciate that. I actually have a question for the town manager. I know that their deadline, they said, I believe, is this Friday, but would it be possible to possibly get the survey on the Citizens Connect app to try to reach some more citizens before the deadline?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you.
Oh, that's tremendous. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, seeing no more questions, thank you, and continue to fight the good fight of health. Okay, let's go to our Prince William County Public Schools presentation on how the school nutrition programs fuel students. Wow, that plays right into this last one. Yeah, couldn't have planned that better, huh?
Right. Okay, perfect. Thank you. All right. Well, good evening, council members and Mayor Wood. Thank you so much for inviting us. We had such a great conversation around this topic, and we're so excited to be here tonight to share more about our food and nutrition program. We introduced ourselves earlier. Callie and I are fairly new to Prince William County. I came to the area from Harrisonburg, where I was the food service director for about 21 years, and Callie came to us from the Virginia Department of Education in June.
We stole it from our friend Chris Jones.
You did. And so we're both just really passionate about this work and excited to share more about some of the exciting things that are going on in Prince William County. So I'm going to kick us off and just kind of give a global view of our program and some of our goals. And then I'm going to turn it over to Callie to talk about some of the specific nutrition initiatives that you may be interested in. All right, so first, let me start with our priorities as a program. We want to ensure food access for all students. It's not enough to simply offer healthy foods, right? We have to be sure that our students have access and that we are removing barriers to student access to healthy meals at school. And I'm going to speak to that a little bit more on the next slide. We also are prioritizing high quality, nutritious, enjoyable foods and student-driven menus. It's not nutrition, we say this all the time, if it ends up in a trash can. And so we need to be sure that we're offering choices that are both nutritious, that really are focusing on our students' wants and needs, and that they're going to eat and enjoy. And so I wanted to talk a little bit, and I apologize that it's a little bit difficult to read this slide, but you can find at pwcsnutrition.com this list of community eligibility provision schools. So some of you may have heard the term CEP, Community Eligibility Provision. What this program does, it allows schools, and the government just last year reduced the participation threshold to 25%. So if a school or a group of schools has at least 25% of students enrolled who are automatic qualifiers for free meals, this means their families participate in SNAP, TANF, they may have a foster migrant homeless designation, that school may offer meals at no cost to all the enrolled students, regardless of income and without application. And so it really levels the playing field and improves access to school meals. Because of this reduction in the participation thresholds, divisions may evaluate their ability to participate. Not every division may be able to participate at that level. We looked at our finances in our program, and Prince William determined that we could do that. And so we were really excited to add 24 additional schools this year. This means that 68 of our 97 schools offer no-cost meals to all of our students. So it's really exciting. We've seen our participation go up. We know that CEP reduces the stigma that might be associated with applying for school meals, for free or reduced school meals. And so it's just a wonderful program. I don't want to take a lot of time talking about this point, but there are some proposals in Congress that would really decimate this program and really make it so much more difficult for schools to qualify. And I would share that these proposals would also require families every single family who applied for free and reduced meals to submit income documentation, and just really adding a lot of administrative burden to the process. So I don't want to spend a lot of time on that because I want to get to the exciting slides that Callie has to share about some of the nutrition work that is going on. But I'd be happy to answer questions related to CEP when we move into question and answer. So I'm going to turn it over to Callie to talk about some of our nutrition initiatives.
Yes. So the second priority within our office that Andrea shared is high quality, nutritious, enjoyable meals. So what do we mean when we use those adjectives to describe the meals that we serve? Well, first, every single Prince William County school is a scratch cooking kitchen. So if you were to walk into any school in this county, you would see that our staff are scratch cooking in those kitchens, entrees, sides, every single day. So that is really exciting work. There's still work to do to increase the scratch cooking that we do in our kitchens, but we're really excited to be innovative and continue to think about ways that we can continue to improve that work. And of course, we stand here, we're so proud of the work, but I do just have to say, we would not be able to do this if it were not for the hardworking staff that wake up at the bust of dawn, before dawn, to do that every single day to feed and nourish our kids in Prince William County. So we are incredibly grateful and humbled to have the staff that we have. The second point that I want to raise, and this as a dietitian is one of my favorite things that we are able to offer our students, is every single school has a self-serve garden and fruit bar. That means every student, as they go through the line, they get their hot entree, and then they go to a fruit and garden bar, and they can serve themselves as many fruits and vegetables as they want. Exposure, like we cannot overstate the importance of exposure. And through this program, we are able to expose our students to a variety of textures and flavors and colors in a way, in an environment that's low pressure, that's positive. So they have the opportunity to try something new, and maybe they just want to taste. They're allowed to just get a taste of that. So that's something that we love and are proud of as well. And then I also want to mention that as we are purchasing foods, as we are looking to add foods to our menu, we do have a list of kind of no ingredients. These are ingredients that we really want to limit the exposure to within our students and within our school meals. So we are looking for those artificial colors, preservatives, flavor enhancers, that list that you see right there. And I'm hoping that this is going to work when I hit next. But this is a little video of some of the scratch cooking that's happening in our kitchens. Oh, shoot. Okay. Well, these are our social media pages. So we are on Facebook, Instagram, and X. So I highly encourage you to go follow us. And we have an amazing marketing specialist who posts pictures and videos of all the work that we're doing. So you can really see a behind the scenes look of what happens in our kitchens every day. And these are pictures of that garden and fruit bar, so you can see that in action. It's colorful, and I mean, look at that tray, that far right picture. That is a full lunch. That is a beautiful meal. That's our scratch-made spaghetti meat sauce that student has, and full of, and also I think there's garlic bread on that tray too, which is a scratch-made item. And then lastly, I do want to mention that we are doing exciting student engagement work this year to increase our student-driven menu items. We really, as Andrea said, nutrition's not nutrition if it's in the trash can, right? So we really want to make sure that we're offering items that kids are excited to eat, and that that we've heard their voice, and that we're incorporating their feedback into our menus. So this year we released a student satisfaction survey at the beginning of the school year to get an idea of what they don't like, what they do like, what they want. We also have been having some really great and engaging facilitated conversations with our high school students, and our middle school students has been one of the highlights of my year, to engage with those students. We have an annual food show, which is open to the community. So I encourage you all to come. It will be in November this coming year. It happens every single year. It's an opportunity for us to showcase new recipes. This year we showcased student recipes, staff recipes, and a few recipes from within our office, but really those student recipes came to the forefront. And then we're also doing taste tests throughout the year. What you see on this slide is our new menu item, which was one of those student recipes that we tested at our food show. And this is a recipe for butter chicken. This student is a 7th grader at Benton Middle School, and this recipe was added to middle and high school menus. Actually, yesterday was the first day that it was menued at middle schools. And so we are just excited to continue that work going forward. Okay.
I have to add to the butter chicken conversation because before I had an hour before this meeting, and so I went to the Dumfries Chick-fil-A, and I was in my Prince William County car, and so there were 4 middle school students and they said, "What do you do?" And I said, "What I do." And they said, "Oh, we had some new chicken." And it was good, but it needed a little more spice. So I was able, we're doing this student-driven menu work in the parking lot at the Chick-fil-A in Dumfries. I just thought it was really great. And they gave me some other additional feedback, and I encourage them to do our spring survey when it comes to their email. But, it's really cool, the conversations that we've been having with our students. So at this time, we would love to answer any questions that you all might have for us.
Councilman P.
I just want to say good presentation as
Are you hungry? No.
Right, especially looking at his plate, I had something like this when I was growing up. This I would have stayed woke in school, right? Yeah, but again, good presentation. I just want to take a time out to thank you two and your staff for I'm big on the youth and everything, right? And I just want to thank you all for taking not only the time out to just give them nourishment and what we had, like the little salad bowls just wrapped up pre-made, but having the option to gather as much as you can. I think I would have had a whole bunch of pineapple, right? That's just amazing. So again, thank you guys for doing this for our youth. As some may not often have the food at home to get meals like this. And I just want to say thank you guys for doing your part on that end for our children. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, I just want to say, to be able to move, and I know you're not there yet, 100% process-free, ultra-process-free food, but just to be able to, in this region, to have all of your kitchens prepared to do scratch meals, right? I think is an amazing feat that you're already outfitted for it. And I think the danger, and I know we'll talk about it a little later on today, is losing a lot of that funding and making it harder for kids to be eligible to get those meals. And I think that's what we all want to fight to combat. And I know there's a bill in the Ways and Means Committee that's going to strike billions of dollars away from these CEP schools, in which one, Dumfries Elementary School, is a huge proponent of it. And so thank you all for the work. And how far? I know that Prince William County is ahead of the majority of the school districts in Virginia. What are we?
we think we're doing a great job. How about that? But we're all, I mean, there is a lot of great work across the Commonwealth, as we were participating with 10 other divisions in menu development. So 10 other divisions across the state in trying to develop some new scratch recipes. We're doing a sweet potato roll and a super green salad. So stay tuned on those items. But these districts are working together to get some standardized recipes that then go into a cookbook and they go out across the state. So there is a very, very large amount of great work that's going on around the Commonwealth in this space. So
Now, are your food shows on both the east and the west side of the county?
that's a great question. We have talked that would be a wonderful idea. We have tried to keep it central. Last year, we needed to go out to Patriot just because of some scheduling. So having one either in the west and the east or central is probably a better plan
My
for
kids
us.
have been out of school for a while, but
Yeah.
I have been to the one at Patriot and a couple. That's why I asked if it was. I remember it was in one location. I had to drive way to the other side. And that's why I'm asking if they moved it back. So I haven't done one of your food tastings in a while.
All right,
So
we'll make sure to get you the date.
Definitely
We have
like
that,
to plug back in, even though I
Good.
ain't got no kids in school, just so I can.
Everyone is invited and welcome.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. Any more questions, Council? All right. Well, thank you for your good presentation.
Thanks again for having us. Thank you.
All right, this time I'm gonna take council. Can we do 5 minutes? So okay. All right, 5 minute stretch break. All right. Next on our agenda is the presentation of the fiscal year 2025-2026 budget. And while Mr. Curtis is coming up, Town Manager, would you like to make some remarks?
Yes, sir. Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, members of council. It's with great pride that we present the FY 25-26 proposed budget, a reflection of our continued commitment to responsible governance, strategic investment, and a shared vision of a thriving Dumfries, progress, partnerships, and possibilities. Through strategic planning and community-focused priorities, we enhance services, strengthen infrastructure, and drive economic growth to build a thriving town where our residents and businesses can prosper. This budget embodies our dedication to ensuring that our great town of Dumfries remains vibrant, sustainable, and inclusive, while positioning us for long-term success. I extend my sincere appreciation to our finance department. If the rest of the team can stand so I can acknowledge them. Thank you. Our town council and the rest of our staff for their dedication. If the council want to stand, most definitely. Sorry. Sorry. Thank you. Thank you. And the rest of our staff for their dedication, collaboration, and hard work while shaping this budget, one that meets the needs of today and paves the way for the future, filled with progress, strengthened partnerships, and endless possibilities for our community. Now I will turn it over to our Chief Financial Officer, Mr. Curtis Eatman.
Thank you, Madam Town Manager. Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, Chair Pro Tem, and Town Council. Thank you, everyone, for taking the time to listen to this presentation. This is the Town of Dumfries organizational chart. This is how we operate under the council manager form of government. Today, we're going to present to you the fiscal year 2025-2026 budget, proposed budget. These are our strategic goals that this budget is built upon. These were the strategic goals that were adopted by the town council. The goals were a driving force behind the creation of this budget. The goals are affordability and livability. The town will be inclusive and financially sustainable environment where residents of all ages and backgrounds will have access to quality housing, essential services, employment, and recreational opportunities. Civic engagement. The town will create meaningful resident engagement, encouraging participation, collaboration in decision-making process, and providing community activities. Economic development and infrastructure. The town will expand and grow economic development opportunities while improving the infrastructure for businesses to thrive and being a well-managed government. The town will have a well-managed government that is accountable, transparent, and efficient in serving the residents of this town. Enhancing public safety will provide the highest quality of public safety through police visibility and fostering community where residents and officers can work collaboratively to prevent crime and ensure safety and well-being of all. The ABCs of this budget, or the cornerstones of this budget. The budget is built off of accounting. The budget should account for all structural changes within government operations. The budget is balanced. The budget must always be balanced in continuing the continuity of operations with finite resources. Lastly, the budget must always continue to improve the town's rainy day or fund balance to prevent and have any funds available in case of an emergency. So how's the town of Dumfries performing? The town has made progress towards being a well-managed government. The town of Dumfries has presented a clean audit to this council in 2024. The audit showed that the town council and town managers had a good commitment to good fiscal policies and good fiscal management. The town 2024 audit addressed all of the concerns of the town 2023 audit findings. And then more importantly, it showed that the town increased its fund balance tremendously. or rainy day fund. We are now at $7.6 million, grant funds at about 18K or 18,000, and streets and highway funds or 318K. Overall showcasing that the town is operating financially well and doing great and moving forward in the progress. This chart shows the financial report card continue. This chart shows visibly the growth of the rainy day fund between 2023 and 2024, and 2023 and 2024. The chart shows the progress the town has made under the current leadership team. So what are the key considerations in this fiscal year 2025-2026 proposed operating budget? The first is to continue to be transparent and effective and efficient in government. Continue to work with the financial advisors to achieve a bond rating. The third is continuing to research funding initiatives for the capital improvement plan. This budget also establishes the independence of the town clerk department. It implements funding for a master plan for the town. It continues funding for the youth, seniors, and community through the Department of Recreation and continuing the programs in civic engagement. It continues to build the town's workforce by maintaining a fully funded healthcare plan to attract talented workforce. And then this budget also sets aside to award those performances by having a performance management. So what are the proposed 2025-2026? This budget is partnership driven. First, this budget improves and invests in community. It provides $219,850 in community program through the Department of Recreation and Civic Engagement. It invests $30,000 to repair historic Dumfries, Virginia, Incorporated through the Public Works Department. And then it also invests $20,000 to continue the police department's Christmas and Dumfries program in fiscal year 2026. This budget also improves and invests in the workforce. This budget has a built-in cost of living adjustment, or what we call COLA, of 2% for employees with more than 1 year of service, rewarding the longevity of the department and of the individuals. And then it also has an increase of 1% for merit increases for those employees who have also been here for more than 1 year and are also doing extremely well at their jobs. This budget also advances the town of Dumfries. It invests $50,000 for the town Dumfries branding campaign to invest in marketing of current businesses and to bring additional businesses to the town. It invests $15,000 for marketing of the destination of Dumfries. And then it invested $64,000 in funding of community-based organizations who are here to help serve the community and the residents. Lastly, this budget invests in continuing improvement of our town government. $20,000 in new recreational software that would improve town recreational programs, and $9,000 in investment in geographic information software, GIS, to bolster planning and public works department's abilities to better serve the community. This slide would tell you the personnel summary changes in the 2025-2026 budget. I will just summarize them completely here. The town manager department adds a position of the deputy town manager, and then it reclassifies the executive assistant to the assistant to the town manager, assistant to the town manager, and / public information officer. As we all know, this budget establishes the town clerk, therefore moving the town clerk as well as the deputy town clerk to the clerk's department. The budget also adds an administrative assistant to the Public Works Department, 2 maintenance officers, and 1 part-time worker, while eliminating the maintenance supervisor. This budget also adds 1 planner to the Planning, Community, and Economic Development Department, and then it adds 1 lieutenant officer to our police department. These are just the charts that you will see that summarizes all of these. Now I move to the proposed fiscal year 2025-2026 budget. The fiscal year 2025-2026 all funds budget is $12,752,397, an increase of $1.7 million or 15% over the fiscal year 2024-2025 adopted budget of $11,072,340. The general fund, which is the largest fund, town's largest fund, is $12,153,644, or $1.7 million increase over the fiscal year 2025 adopted budget of general fund budget of $10,473,896. Before you is a proposed summary of the revenue slides of how the $12,153,644 has been made up. $1.4 million in taxes, $9.2 million in other local taxes, $233,000 in permit fees and licenses, $295 in fines and forfeitures, $870 in revenues from use of money/property, $600K in miscellaneous revenue, and $160,000 in revenue from the Commonwealth. These are a list of the revenues being further broken down, as you can see from the slides, in further detail. This pie chart breaks down further the spending, illustrates the spending of our town. The general government is at $5.5 million, which is our largest expenditure. Public safety is about $3.3 million, and public works is about $1.5 million. These are our three larger departments where we spend most of our funds. The proposed general fund revenue expenditure summary. The growth of general government is about 29% when compared to the adopted budget of fiscal year 2024-2025. Public safety grew 7%. Public works grew 14%. Planning and boards and commissions grew 17%. Debt service grew 26%, and non-departmentals was a reduction of 82%. The next slides will break down the fiscal year 2026 budget for each department in the town. Town council is at 456. Town attorneys at 321. Town managers at 2.2 million. The newly created town clerk is at 367. Treasurer and finance is at 641 and 729,000 respectively. The Department of Civic Recreation and Civic Engagement is at 826K. We added a new line in the overtime line in this department to better suit the needs of this department. Economic planning and community development is at 459,000. Police is at 3.3 million, and public works is at 1.5. We've also added another overtime line in the Public Works Department to also better suit the department. Our debt service is about 1.4 million, and our non-departmental budget is about 64K. Lastly, I will review the 2025-2026 special revenue funds. The grant funds, which was created to centralize most states, federal and other grant programs, is proposed at $44,600. These funds are outside of the general fund, so they have their own revenues and own expenditures. The street funds this is the fund dedicated to centralizing Virginia's Department of Transportation. Urban Allocation Fund is proposed at $355K, and the Stormwater Fund, which houses the town's stormwater management program, is proposed at $199K, for a total of all funds at $599K. This goes into a lot of the detail about each one of these programs. Lastly, I will propose the many possibilities that we can do under our capital improvement plan. The town's capital budget is projected to be $5.3 million. Of the $5.3 million, $1.3 million is currently unfunded. These are the projects that are proposed. And I now stand ready to address any questions. This is the proposed fiscal year 2025-2026 budget, both the all funds budget, general fund, and the special revenue funds.
Madam
you
Town
all.
Manager.
Thank you, Mr. Eatman, for your presentation. Mayor, I just want to make sure I reiterate for the council that there is a line that's different in our capital improvement project from the first time that we presented this to the council, and we created a line in regards to the Brownsville multi-purpose grant, and that is funded at $1 million. That was something that we did not have in there when we met with council the first time, sir.
Okay. Chair Pro Tem.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor, and thank you, Mr. Eatman, for all the work that you and your department have put into this document. It's very thorough, it's very detail-oriented, so we definitely appreciate your work in keeping us on track. But I would like to make a motion to add a budget work session on April 22nd at 7 p.m. to, I'm sorry, if at all possible, if we could do that virtually.
Virtual.
April 22nd.
You said April, not March.
I'm sorry. I'm a little ahead of myself. March 25th.
Let me look at.
Is that
I second it for discussion. Let me look at the calendar here. Hold on. Okay, so you want to do just a work session with just the budget on the agenda, the only item?
Yes, and I would ask if that date works for the council. If not, we might need to slide it left or right.
All right, Councilman Pete and then Vice Mayor?
No, Vice Mayor.
Okay, Vice Mayor.
Madam Pro Tem, that date doesn't work for you either.
Sure don't.
No.
It's a different day of the week. It is long.
Does anybody have another date in mind that they would prefer? Because we could do it. Could we do it the following day on the 26th?
Yeah, 26, I'm open. And the 27.
7.
Present or?
Present.
Present or virtual?
Virtual.
Oh, you don't want to be in?
I just figured virtually would be easier for everybody with the schedule, but I'm not picky. If the preference of the group is in person, yeah, but I was thinking virtual would be more accessible for everyone.
I'm open to what the council is open to. Councilman Fields?
I'd love to do it in person.
Yeah.
Okay.
We'll do it in person.
Okay, that's fine.
So what's the date?
The 26th.
26. Wednesday the 26th?
Yes.
Okay, Wednesday. All right, she'll put that on the calendar. We'll take, all right. Vice Mayor.
I am willing to come in and be a part of this meeting because I do think it is very important. However, so is my time. And so I would like that if we are going to have this meeting, this work session, that we have it with, we come prepared, ready to talk, and ready to be done by 8:30 because that I just need my time respected as well. So I want us to come in here with the mindset that we're going to have these discussions in an orderly fashion and be willing to finish at a prescribed time so that we can make sure that we're having the most efficient use of our time. So I propose that along with your date, we include 7 to 8:30 as the scheduled time.
That's fine.
Thank you.
Mayor, the town manager.
Okay. There's a motion on the floor. Is it just going to speak to the motion and then we'll come to you? All right. Any other discussion on the motion? Okay, clarify your motion.
Yes, I would like to make a motion to have a budget work session on March 26th at 7 p.m. ending at 8:30.
At town.
At Town Hall in person.
And I'll keep the second. All right. Seeing no further discussion, call for the motion.
Councilmember Peterson?
Aye.
Councilmember Pete?
No.
Councilmember Fields?
Yes.
Councilmember Young?
Yes.
Chair Pro Tem Miles?
Aye.
Vice Mayor Nickerson?
Yes.
Mayor Wood?
Yes.
Motion's passed.
Okay. Town Manager.
I just wanted to respectfully ask the council during their review of the budget if they have any questions, just to help the meeting move along, if those questions can be sent to us in advance so we can be prepared to discuss them. If there's items that the council would like us to look at reducing or removing, that is shared with us so we could at least come with a narrative to support our position. Ultimately, we know that the final decision comes from the council, but we just want to make sure we're prepared to be efficient at the meeting.
And I want to thank you for answering a lot of my questions in advance and providing the memo. So thank you.
Thank you.
Councilman Pete.
I want to also thank the council for the recommendations set forth by the town manager as in asking us as a council to review these documents and to prior having them to her before 2 o'clock today. I just want to thank the council members that are taking heed to recommendations also from our town manager. As I do know that we have to do this, but we've had this book for quite a bit of time now. And I just believe that we could do our due diligence and go through it in a timely manner and have this set forth to where we can move this thing at a timely manner, because we always talking about time. And here we are, because it looks like someone has lacked to do the due diligence on looking through this budget book, that we're now scheduling another meeting for us to have this conversation. So out of respect of the town manager, I'm going to ask that we respect her recommendations moving forward also. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman Pete. Just as a point of reference, the mayor had to step away to take an important phone call, maybe a family emergency. So we will keep him in our thoughts and prayers, and we'll continue with our discussion. Madam Pro Tem?
Thank you, Madam Vice Mayor. I would just like to also point out for the record that the budget does not have to be approved by state code until June 30th. So we are not behind schedule and we are not mismanaging time in any way. Thank you.
Madam Vice Mayor, I do apologize. I received a message from a citizen who commented in regards to the citizen comment period. Their comment was not in regards to the item on the agenda, and they would like to have their comment addressed to the council.
Sure. As soon as we finish this discussion, then we can circle back to that. In reference to Councilmember Pete's points, I understand where you're coming from, Councilman Pete, because the town manager did provide us all an opportunity to meet with her individually to address all of our questions and concerns. And she did so out of respect for our time and to give us the opportunity for those one-on-one conversations. So I do want to acknowledge that the town manager did provide us that opportunity, and I do appreciate that you've given us that opportunity. However, having a discussion with all of us in the room where we can engage with each other and talk about and ask these questions out loud, and everyone can hear everyone else's feedback, that is also beneficial. And believe me, I am very stingy with my time now that I am reporting to the office in DC 5 days a week. So please believe me, I absolutely understand where you're coming from, and I appreciate that you put that out there. And I also thank the town manager for giving us the opportunity for those one-on-one discussions also. All right, are there any other discussions around the budget? All right, so we will reconvene that discussion during our work session. Thank you, Mr. Eatman. Town Clerk, the floor is yours to call up the citizen to speak.
Public comment. I am not sure which citizen it is.
Citizen Nickerson.
Nickerson, okay. Mr. Larry Nickerson?
Thank you, Council, for getting me up here at this time. I'm gonna start this off by saying something that one of your fellow councilmen always says. I'm about the kids, and this message is about the kids. And I don't come up here and speak a lot, but when I do, it's because I got something to say and it's something I'm not pleased about. So the presentation that y'all were giving in relation to the Boys and Girls Club last week, that was not an accurate depiction of what's going on there. I'm there every week, 2-3 times a week. What they showed y'all, trying to make you think that's where your money was being spent, it's not where your money's being spent. Those pictures you saw were pictures of work that was done with paint that was volunteered, donated, hours that were done, that were volunteered, donated by citizens, by parents, by some board members. I know that because I was on those group messages, and I wasn't there because I was coaching 2 football teams on multiple occasions. So you weren't given that right information. There's safety issues that have not been addressed, to include the first issue, which I called out in 2022 when my son got hurt on the basketball court. I provided pictures and stuff about those incidences. Wasn't nothing done about it. That's what's opened the can for me to go looking into things further, okay? Fast forward to April of last year, my son gets hurt on the bleachers. There's a report made, but there's nothing done about it. My son probably wasn't the first, nor was he the last. They ain't fixed the problem. Y'all have given, this council has approved since 2015, almost $105,000 for the Boys and Girls Club for their use. And I can't tell where it's gone because those issues has not been addressed. And I'm so glad that Mayor Wood has walked back in here because he's been on that board for years, multiple years. So my question is, for you being on that board, sir, how do you not know that the fence is about to fall down, the bleachers are broke, the chairs and tables on the playground are messed up, the basketball court is a trip hazard, you got rust, the fences are missing parts, there are rust on top to bottom. If those kids get hurt, do I got to tell y'all what that's going to create? Tetanus shots, who knows what. Y'all got my email. I sent it to every last one of you. I asked for it. All I want, if you're spending it like you're supposed to, then silence me. But I didn't get nothing. No response, nothing. That's disrespect. To me, that's telling me you're trying to hide something. So before you give them another $20,000, I would suggest you ask where your first $20,000 went. Because it ain't going what they're trying to tell you. If I'm wrong, prove it to me. Or don't prove it to me, prove it to y'all. But y'all need to know what's going on.
Thank you for your comment, Mr. Nickerson. Now that the mayor is back, I will turn the gavel back over to you to move on with the agenda. Moving into item F, Town Manager's Report presentation by the Town Manager.
Mayor, Vice Mayor, members of council, I will be brief. I know we have several public hearings following this. We did have a scheduled presentation to bring an update on accomplishments for the previous year, but we'll bring it back to y'all at a later meeting. Briefly, I'll highlight a few things of the town manager's report. Currently, the town has about $8.6 million in the bank, with $1 million collected in February. Our DMV had a successful audit recently. In regards to procurement, we issued a couple of RFPs. One was for professional environmental services, and the second was for lobbyist services. The lobbyist services contract has been awarded, and we will begin meetings with them in April. The professional services environmental contract is actually with the vendor being reviewed. It will come back and be reviewed by our town attorney. Once she has given out her blessing, we will bring it back before council to actually approve the award of that contract. In human resources, in the month of February, they recruited an administrative assistant for the Recreation Civic Engagement Department. We had a promotion in the police department, as well as a part-time intern within the town. The town is open enrollment will begin in May 1st through May 15th, as stated in the budget, with a 7% increase on our rates. The planning, the comprehensive plan is on track, with the final draft to be distributed this month. In Public Works, they had a stormwater and roadway repairs, which are ongoing. And they did some public safety enhancements. They collaborated recently with Dominion Energy in Prince William County to improve street lighting. And I will also state, and this is not in my current but on my current report this week, they also met in regards to burying the power lines here on Main Street. Recreation and Civic Engagement hosted a Black History program. They had 223 attendees, and some of the up-and-coming events will be the Dumfries Job Fair and Career Expo in April 2025. We have a spring cleanup at Quantico Creek, April 5th, 2025. Easter egg hunt, April 12th, 2025. Marketing at Farmers Market will launch on April 19th, and our autism awareness event will be April 26th. Despite a very busy month during the month of February, significant progress has been made in the financial management, infrastructure projects, and economic development and community engagement. And I appreciate the dedication to our department heads and their staff. Thank you, sir.
All right, council, any questions, comments on the town manager, vice mayor?
Thank you for your report, ma'am. I have a couple of comments. So as a lot of you know, if you're following us on social media, the town of Dumfries were selected as runner-ups in the Community of the Year contest. And with that, I want to acknowledge that Dumfries is moving fast forward, and it is absolutely because of the dedication of our council and our staff, and also the engagement from the citizens. But when it comes to our staff, as I so affectionately refer to as the magic behind the curtain, you all are the primary reason why we are able to rank as high as we did with this ranking, and it is prestigious. It is a very good pat on the back for us to say that we're doing the right things and people are noticing. And so that is wonderful. I am grateful to serve alongside my fellow council members up here, each of whom plays a pivotal role in everything that we do, from the decisions we make to the critiques we make, because even those critiques are important, because those critiques are what help us to be better. So thank you all for that. And congratulations to all of you and to all of us for making that list and coming in second runner up. And let's aim for winner, right? let's aim to win that if we can. Also, I wanted to mention, you have here listed in your report about upcoming events. So we have the Dumfries Career and Trade Fair with the unions that's coming up April 5th. This initiative is very close to my heart, because in today's changing economy, what we need to do is our very best to create access to resources for our residents and the neighboring communities in order to hone in on their skills and their trades, because with the way that things are going, we don't know what tomorrow will bring. Artificial intelligence is taking a lot of our thinking jobs, and not to say the trade skills are not thinking jobs, but those jobs that we're doing with our hands, machines can't replace those jobs. And this is why it is so important that we support the trades and that we bring this resource to our community in order to empower them to be able to continue to move forward as we advance with technology in our community. So thank you to the staff for helping to put that together. And I hope that you all will find it on our social media and share it far and wide, because the greater participation we have, the more interested these career opportunities will be to come here to find talent to help their businesses thrive. Thank you.
Just a couple questions for you on the The Brownfield grant, did you have a status update for us? I didn't know if I missed that. I'm sorry.
Yes, that's the RFP for professional environmental services. That is the one that is being reviewed by the vendor at this moment. It will come back and go to our town attorney for her blessing, and then we will bring it back to the council for their approval.
Okay, so we're still in the.
We're still in the, now we're in the contract.
Negotiation.
Not even the terms and conditions is being reviewed by the respective parties, sir.
All right, I think that was my main question there. Did you think? Councilman Pete.
Just want to thank you, Town Manager, for this very great detailed report that you have here. Also, again, I didn't get to thank you, but Mr. Curtis Eatman, thank you very much for that presentation on the budget. That was excellent. I just want to acknowledge that because you, from last year this time, this is like amazing. This is something that we like to see. It's a couple of things that we were asking for of last year. They're in here this year, and we're looking good. And it's actually, this is on the town website for the citizens to review too, correct?
Yes, it is, sir.
All right, thank you. Thank you very much. And thank you, Mr. Eatman. We're moving in the right direction. Thank you.
Next on our agenda is the consent agenda. Okay.
Ms. Mayor? Go ahead. After you.
Move we approve the consent agenda.
A second.
All right, it's been moved in second. Any discussion? All right, seeing none, Madam Clerk, call for the question.
Councilmember Peterson?
Aye.
Councilmember Pete?
Yes.
Councilmember Fields?
Yes.
Councilmember Young?
Yes.
Chair Pro Tem Miles?
Aye.
Vice Mayor Nickerson?
Yes.
Mayor Wood?
Yes.
My motion's passed.
All right. Next on our agenda is to talk about a resolution to dealing with the nutrition and federal cuts coming to school meals and nutrition program. As we heard earlier about what was going on with our nutrition, and I'll just read the resolution. The House Ways and Means Committee has proposed a $12 billion reduction in school meal funding over the next decade, which will impact access to free and reduced meals for millions of children. And whereas these cuts would increase the documentation requirements, making it more difficult for low-income families to qualify for school meal programs, leading to an increase in child food insecurity. And whereas the proposed changes would tighten eligibility criteria for the community eligibility provision, the CEP, reducing the number of schools that can offer universal free meals and jeopardizing nutrition awareness for students in need. And whereas the House Resolution 1464 would modernize the WIC certification through virtual access, which is beneficial, but this effort should be expanded to include other nutritional programs rather than implementing restricted barriers to eligibility. And whereas House Resolution 2567, the School Meals Expansion Act seeks to increase school meal eligibility and boost the reimbursement rates, which is critical to sustaining school meal programs and ensuring that every child has access to nutritious meals. Whereas the proposed 20% cut to SNAP benefits would have devastating consequences for families across the country, disproportionately affecting school-age children, leading to higher levels of hunger, reduced academic performance, and long-term health consequences. And whereas research confirms that proper nutrition improves academic performance, it reduces absenteeism, and enhances cognitive development, making access to healthy school meals a fundamental component of educational success. And whereas reducing funding from school meals contradicts efforts such as Make America Healthy Again executive order, which aims to improve child nutrition and combat chronic health conditions associated with poor dietary habits. Now we ask that the town of Dumfries, we strongly oppose any federal funding cuts to the National School Lunch Program, School Breakfast Program, and SNAP that would limit access to healthy meals for students and families in need. Be it further resolved that we urge Congress to reject the proposal cutting funding to school meals programs and SNAP instead of expand investments in child nutrition programs. We support the passage of the House Resolution 2567, which is the School Meals Expansion Act, to ensure more schools can provide universal free meals. We ask to preserve the integrity of the CEP, to maintain broad access to school meals without imposing restrictive criteria. We ask that Congress adopt policies that enhances rather than restrict access to school meal programs by simplifying application processes and reducing administrative burdens. And lastly, we ask that they ensure that state and local governments are continue to be empowered to maintain the high nutritional standards in school meals with federal support for fresh, locally sourced, and scratch-cooked meals. Be it finally resolved that the town of Dumfries calls upon local leaders, advocacy organizations, community stakeholders to actively oppose these harmful federal policies that work toward a comprehensive solution that prioritizes our children's health and nutrition. All right, so I do that in the form of a motion.
Second.
All right, so motion and second discussion. I would, now that we have our own lobbyists, state and federal, with this resolution, this could be one of the first things we pass on to our lobbyists to oppose. All right, any other discussion? All right, seeing none, Madam Clerk, call for the question.
Councilmember Peterson? Aye. Councilmember Peete?
Yes.
Councilmember Fields?
Yes.
Councilmember Young?
Yes.
Chair Pro Tem Miles?
Aye.
Vice Mayor Nickerson?
Yes.
Mayor Wood?
Yes.
That motion's passed.
All right. Next is a public hearing amending Charter 1, Section 1.7 of the Code of Virginia, Town of Dumfries, to amend general penalty, providing a repeal conflicting ordinance, serve billing effective date. And I turn these next set of public hearings. We'll just do them one by one. Madam Attorney, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Good evening, members of council. There are 6 ordinances scheduled tonight for public hearing. Some of these ordinances propose entirely new regulations, while others of them amend existing ones. These first 6 ordinances come out of the council's directive to the town attorney to perform a comprehensive review of the town code and to bring it up to date with state law and up to date with the current practices and needs of the town. As the town code review continues, additional ordinances will be introduced to achieve these outcomes. But as we start with these 6 tonight, as each ordinance is presented, I will present a very brief overview of what the regulation or the amendment is intended to achieve. I will also answer your questions should you have some. This concludes my introductory remarks, and I'll go right into the first public hearing that you just announced, the amendment to Chapter 1, Section 1.7 of the Town Code. So as previously stated, this is an ordinance that amends an existing one. Section 1-7A4 addresses the fines that are imposed in the event of a conviction for a misdemeanor. Currently, our Class 4 misdemeanor exceeds the amount that's allowed by state law. The amendment will reduce that amount and bring it in compliance with the state code. And I ask that you not only consider this amendment, but approve it so that we have a town code that's in compliance with state law. Thank you.
Okay, council, any questions? All right, seeing none, I will now open the public hearing. Madam Clerk, is there anyone signed up to speak?
No, sir.
All right. Seeing none, at this time, I'll close the public hearing. All right. Vice Mayor. Oh.
I make a motion that we move forward with the ordinance amending Chapter 1, Section 1.7 of the Code of the Town of Dumfries to amend general penalty provided for the repeal of conflicting ordinance, severability, and effective.
Second.
Okay, it's been motioned and second. Any further discussion? Okay, seeing none, Madam Clerk, please call for the question.
Councilmember Peterson?
Yes.
Councilmember Pete?
Yes.
Councilmember Fields?
Yes.
Councilmember Young?
Yes.
Chair Pro Tem Miles?
Aye.
Vice Mayor Nickerson?
Yes.
Mayor Wood?
Yes.
That motion's passed.
Madam Attorney.
Yes, sir. The next ordinance amends Section 2-1 of the Town Code. As previously indicated, it amends an existing ordinance, and it amends it to bring us in compliance with our current practices. The current text of this section has the town hall as the voting location for the town. The amendment changes that to the Jeff Simpson Community Center, which has become our new voting location. I ask that you approve this ordinance.
Okay, any questions? Councilman Pete?
No.
No? Okay. All right. Seeing none, I'll open the public hearing. Madam Clerk, is there anyone signed up to speak?
No, sir.
Okay. Seeing that there's no one here to speak on that issue, I will now close the public hearing. Okay.
You need a motion on that, Mayor?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Make a motion that to amend Chapter 2, Article 1, Section 2.1 of the Code of the Town of Dumfries to change voting location for town elections, providing for the repeal of conflicting ordinances, severability, and effective date.
Second.
Okay. It's been motioned and second. Any discussion?
Oh, ordinances.
All right. Seeing no further discussion, Madam Clerk, please call for the question.
Councilmember Peterson?
Yes.
Councilmember Pete?
Yes.
Councilmember Fields?
Yes.
Councilmember Young?
Yes.
Chair Pro Tem Miles?
Aye.
Vice Mayor Nickerson?
Yes.
Mayor Wood?
Yes.
Motion's passed.
All right. Madam Attorney.
Yes, Mr. Mayor. The next ordinance amends Section 2-56 of the Town Code. This addresses the salaries of the council, and the amendment brings the town code up to date following the 2024 changes to the state code that permits the increased salaries of council. I ask that you approve this ordinance.
Council, any questions? Councilman Pete?
No questions.
Okay. All right. This time, Madam Clerk, you had some people signed up?
No comments.
No,
No people signed up for comments.
I think you had one. Jerry.
Oh, well, he didn't sign up, I'm sorry.
Okay. Just come to the podium, state your name and address for the record.
Hold on one second. Evan, come turn the mic on.
Okay. Try it again. Okay, there you go. Sir, the floor is yours.
My name is Jurgen van Dijk. I'm a business owner as well as a citizen of Dumfries. I like to vote. I have a strong support that the compensation of the council would be increased. I've been following you guys now for a while. I've been a part of this community for 20 years. So I've seen councils come and go. But in the last, I would say 5 years, I've seen huge changes. And I think that should be compensated for. I know you guys on a personal basis, some of you, and I know how much time you guys spend on this. What you see here is just a minor amount. So I think that should be compensated to its fullest. I don't know why you don't even have healthcare through the town. I think that should be an automatic. So we as citizens are dependent on you guys, and the growth of the budget, as I just saw, is tremendous. You guys have done more for this town than any council before this. So I hope that you guys get a significant increase and get rewarded for what you do for us. Thank you.
Was any other citizens speak on the issue? Okay. Seeing no further comments, I will now close the public hearing. Okay. Any
Mr. Mayor, I would like to move that we amend Chapter 2, Article 3, Section 2.56 of the Code of the Town of Dumfries to amend council salaries by ordinance.
Second. Okay, it's been motioned and second. Any further discussion? Vice Mayor.
Thank you. I just want to be honest and transparent here. I have had some apprehensions about this vote. Not because I don't support acknowledging the work of the council, because I'm the first person to say how much work we do on and off this dais, but simply because I know that our residents expect us to lead responsibly. However, I am going to fully support this, not out of pressure, but because the work we do, as a citizen and business owner just said, the work that we do warrants it. I have been asked whether or not we were going to pass along the profits of the revenues that we've received into tax abatement or into tax relief for the residents. And the reality of it is if I'm not mistaken, I'm sure the town attorney will chime in if I am mistaken, but we cannot legally do tax abatement, which we have done something similar to that before, but it's not something that we are really able to do. But since I've been on this council since 2018, we have kept the taxes flat. And that is a great accomplishment, especially when taxes around us are increasing exponentially. And so the other part of that is, while we may see increases in our taxes, we have to understand that the increases that we are seeing are not that we are raising tax rates, but as your value increases, naturally the assessment increases, and therefore this is why you see increases in your tax bill. It is not the council levying tax increases on you. We are doing our very best to keep those taxes flat. One of the reasons why we cannot exactly pass along the savings into taxes is because the reality of our sustainability is our tax base. And right now we are seeing an increase in revenue because we have brought in a business that is doing okay right now, but we've yet to see the true realization of what that business will do for our town. And we cannot afford to take away from our base. Our base, which is our taxes, is our sustainability. And we have to maintain that above all things. So I don't want anyone to misunderstand what's happening here and to think that we're not passing along the savings to the residents, because you can see what we're doing to make lives better for all of us here in Dumfries. We're doing it by empowerment because we're bringing resources to the community. We're doing it by engagement because we're spending money on events and engagement opportunities and celebrations and acknowledgements and food and activities. We are absolutely bringing everything that we can to the community. So I just don't want anybody to misunderstand what's happening here and to judge us too harshly for what you think is not the right thing to do, when in reality, all of the work that we put in warrants this increase. So I say that to say, it really is about ensuring that we have people up here who are doing the work and feeling appreciated for doing that work. I yield, sir. Thank you.
Councilman Fields.
It gives me great pleasure to have served on this council going on 9 years. It gives me great pleasure to be in spaces and places where I talk about Dumfries, and Dumfries is envied among other cities and towns. As last week we were at the National League of Cities Congressional City Conference, and to talk to people in towns and cities under 50,000, and to have something significant to bring to the table that the town of Dumfries is doing and that others can mimic or copy off of. That's because of our good work here. That's because we've grown the town and we can say we have the example for you to follow by. So, as I like to say, may the work you've done speak for you. And if you look around and if you see the work that we've done together collectively on this council, it will speak for itself. and we have a long way to go still to make Dumfries even better moving forward. Thank you.
Councilman Pete.
Just want to say thank you for my fellow council members, mayor, town manager, and definitely our citizens as we tend to move forward with the things that we do here. And again, as Councilman Fields said, we have a long way to go. We're in the beginning halfway point right here. So I just want to say thank you to all of you all that we actually have surrounding localities want to look into our what they call as the small little Dumfries, but we're making a big impact and they want to know how we doing things the way we're doing things here. So that speaks of great work from our town manager and the staff. And again, this is a place where you want to move to. This is a place where you want to go and do business with. We are doing things how you want to do things within your town. Even at an election, just to go off on sidebar, even at the election polls, I was hearing of a lot of citizens during the early election that were in different localities that were often asking, can you govern our area? And I said, I wish we could, but right now we're serving the town of Dumfries. So again, my fellow citizens, thank you all for allowing us to serve you.
Okay, Madam Clerk, can you restate the motion, the first and the second? And then I think we can call for the question.
The motion made by Councilman Pete is to approve the ordinance amending Chapter 2, Article 3, Section 2.56 of the Code of the Town of Dumfries to amend council salaries. That was seconded by Councilman Young.
Call for the question.
Okay. Councilwoman Peterson?
Yes.
Councilmember Pete?
Yes.
Councilmember Fields?
Yes.
Councilmember Young?
Yes.
Chair Pro Tem Miles?
Aye.
Vice Mayor Nickerson?
Yes.
Mayor Wood?
Yes.
That motion has passed.
Madam Town Attorney.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The next ordinance authorizes the town manager to accept easements for construction, reconstruction, and maintenance of streets and alleys. This is an entirely new regulation and will bring the town code up to date with the current needs of the town. The purpose of this ordinance is to increase administrative efficiency by giving the town manager the authority to accept or acquire easements for the town. This power does not extend to all easements. It can only be exercised on the conditions that have been specified in the ordinance, and it's limited to easements accepted or acquired by the town for construction of and maintenance of public streets, alleyways, and public utilities. Easements falling outside of these specifications will still have to be accepted or acquired by the town council. I respectfully ask that you approve this ordinance. Thank you.
Council, any questions? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, Councilman Fields.
I'm sorry. This should be easy peasy, but considering what we ran into last year with or year before last with the easement that was granted over in Prince William Estates, if something like that comes about again, do we have the opportunity with this ordinance to pause to effectively let our community know what's going on before it's approved by the town manager?
Well, as I recall, the Prince William Estate issue was outside of the town of Dumfries, so I don't know what their internal communication processes are. But again, this is intended to take council out of the loop to save time. So unless, the town manager can speak to her frequency and manner of keeping you up to date with things of that nature. But the straightforward answer to your question is no, unless she brings it to your attention. That's the whole purpose of this too.
Yes, I understand that as long as it's brought to our attention and we could adequately let the effective citizens know what is going on.
And Mr. Mayor, may I respond? There are a couple safeguards in there. So there is an internal review process that's implied or embedded into this ordinance. And a part of the review process includes the planning director and the public works director. If either of them objects to this acquisition, then the town manager has absolutely no authority to do this administratively. It automatically kicks to the council for the council to then step in and decide whether or not there's going to be an acquisition. So we've tried to safeguard that, balancing all those kinds of concerns, sir.
Thank you. You see, I got a big smile on my face now that you said that, and I hope the citizens will adhere to, just the question being asked and answered. Thank you.
Okay. Madam Clerk, is anyone signed up for the public hearing?
No one has signed up on the sheet for the public.
Okay. Is anybody here to speak on that issue? All right, seeing none, I will close the public hearing. Okay, public hearing is now closed.
I'd like to make a motion that we authorize the town manager to accept easement for construction, reconstruction, and maintenance of streets and alleys, providing for the repeal of conflicting ordinances, severability, and effective date by ordinance.
I second that motion.
Okay, it's been motioned and second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, please call for the question.
Councilmember Peterson?
Yes.
Councilmember Pete?
Yes.
Councilmember Fields?
Yes.
Councilmember Young?
Yes.
Chair Pro Tem Miles?
Aye.
Vice Mayor Nickerson?
Yes.
Mayor Wood?
Yes.
That motion's passed.
Madam Attorney.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The next ordinance is similar to the one that preceded it. This is an entirely new regulation, and it's intended to authorize the town attorney to serve as editor of the town code and official documents of the town council, and providing for authority to correct scrivener's errors and to make minor non-substantive changes after a matter has been approved by the council. This is an entirely new regulation and will bring the code up to date with the current needs of the town. The purpose of this ordinance is to increase administrative efficiency by giving the town attorney the authority to correct scrivener's errors and non-substantive errors in ordinances and official documents which may be discovered after the town council takes action. The power can only be exercised with respect to non-substantive mistakes, but only in those circumstances where that correction will not pose a risk of changing the substance or meaning of the underlying document. All substantive changes will and continue to be done by the town council. I respectfully ask that you approve this ordinance.
Council, any questions on the report? Okay. I will now open the public hearing. Is there anyone signed up to speak?
No one has signed up to speak.
Okay. Would there anyone in the audience here to speak? Seeing none, I will now close the public hearing. Chair Pro Tem.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'd like to make a motion approving the ordinance designating the town attorney to serve as an editor of the town code and official documents of the town council, providing authority to correct scrivener's errors and make minor non-substantive changes, providing for repeal of conflicting ordinances, severability, and effective date.
A second.
Okay, it's been motioned and second. Any discussion? Seeing none, Madam Clerk.
You missed.
Oh, sorry, Vice Mayor.
Yes, I'd just like to ask that anytime there are any changes, I know it says non-substantive. However, if there's anything that we need to be made aware of, please ensure that we are communicated with effectively so that we know what's happening.
I'm just going to ask for some clarity. So you're saying whenever there is the exercise of that, you want to be notified of the correction, or because if it's a substantive amendment, it's going to come back to you guys to do.
Right.
I can't do it.
Right. So, I mean, a simple email to say that this is something that was caught and corrected would suffice.
And also, just for purposes of following up, Madam Vice Mayor, there is a provision that requires that all exercise of that authority be filed with the clerk's office.
Thank you.
Okay. Any further discussion? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, call for the question.
Councilmember Peterson?
Yes.
Councilmember Pete?
Yes.
Councilmember Fields?
Yes.
Councilmember Young?
Yes.
Chair Pro Tem Miles?
Aye.
Vice Mayor Nickerson?
Yes.
Mayor Wood?
Yes.
That motion's passed.
Madam Attorney.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, thank you. The last ordinance before you amends section 58-57 of the town code. That applies to real estate exemptions. The current code states the availability of the exemption very broadly, and the language is not particularly clear that the exemption, becomes automatic upon action at the county level. This amendment conforms the town code to the specificity of the state and county codes tax exemption eligibility, and making it more clear that the exemption is automatically tied to the exemption from the county. I respectfully ask that you approve this ordinance.
Okay, any questions? Vice Mayor.
I have a question for clarification. I want to make sure I'm understanding what this ordinance is doing. It's simply allowing Dumfries residents to become exempt at our locality in concurrence with or commensurate to what's happening at the county level. So if a resident is exempt based on the county, then what this ordinance is saying is that they will also be exempt within our locality. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
All right. Madam Clerk, is there anyone signed up to speak?
No one has signed up to speak.
Okay, is anyone here to speak on that? Seeing none, I will open and close the public hearing now. Okay. All right, Chair Pro Tem.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the ordinance amending Chapter 58, Article 3, Section 58, Tax 57 of the Code of the Town of Dumfries to amend exemptions for real property taxes, providing for the real property of conflicting ordinances, severability, and effective.
Second. Okay, so a motion and second. Discussion. Tonight, I'd like to say I'm proud of this update to our tax relief ordinance because I think it's the right step forward for our community. As we continue to grow, we got to ensure that our senior and our disabled residents, many of whom lived on fixed incomes, are not left struggling to keep up with the rising property values. For too long, many of the residents who qualify for tax relief have been unaware of it or face unnecessary hurdles in applying. This ordinance change makes the process much cleaner, more accessible, and it ensures that those who qualify under Prince William County's program automatically receive relief at the town level. No extra steps, no confusion, just the support they deserve. This update also includes an annual outreach requirement, so we don't just assume people know about this, we actively inform them. That's how we make government work for the people. This isn't just about a tax policy, it's about protecting the people who built this town. Our seniors, our disabled neighbors, the very individuals who have called Dumfries home for decades. By making this change, we're ensuring that they can stay in their homes, live with dignity, and continue to be part of the fabric of our community. Any other discussion? Okay, Madam Clerk, call for the question.
Councilmember Peterson? Yes. Councilmember Pete?
Yes.
Councilmember Fields? Councilmember Young? Councilmember Young? Chairperson Mack? Chairperson Mack? Mayor Dickerson? Vice Mayor Dickerson? Yes. Yes.
Yes.
That motion's passed.
The next agenda session tonight, this meeting is adjourned.